Welcome in, latest episode of the SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on Twitter. And there he is, the new face of the SEC Power Rankings, everybody's favorite, Cousin Shane. What's up, yo, Tennessee Homer?
Hey, babe, what's going on?
How's it feel to be basically running the SEC these days, Shane?
Mike, I tell you what, I don't know how you do it. I don't, because when those comments started rolling in, I was like, how is he filtering the questions out of here? And it's going 100 miles an hour. So, yeah, I am not ready to run this pod at all, Mike. In fact, if you ever just check out, I'm checking out with you, and we'll just call. At least we got some video out there so my grandkids can look it up later in life. But, Mike, let me ask you, Oklahoma, I know they're not happy right now. Maybe they are, but not as happy as maybe not as happy as they'd like to be. But how was the experience, man? As far as, because you've been to a lot of SEC venues, you've been to a lot of game days, and I'm just trying to, for those that didn't get the opportunity to go out to Norman, kind of where are we at here on the pecking order? If you're power ranking, maybe the experience of Oklahoma.
Power
Sorry.
Everything's power rankings to you now, isn't it, Shane? But, yeah, give me – they've skyrocketed up to number one on my board, Shane.
Oh, buddy.
Give it out to Oklahoma, man. It was a good time. Shane said, you're drunk or hungover or something. No, I'm just tired because it was a whirlwind over there, Shane. But I do want to give a special shout-out to Brad and Mary for hooking us up with the tickets. Incredible. I mean, Shane, there was people paying $1,200 to go to this game.
Yeah.
And they gave me the tickets at face value. Amazing seats. So thank you, Brad and Mary. And the manager over there at the Mont, Patrick. Shane, we went over to the Mont. When you make your trip to Norman there, we got to take you to the Mont. We got to get you these swirls. They are delicious. Shane, the only problem is you just can't stop drinking them. You know what I mean? It's like a frozen daiquiri type deal. It was awesome. The tailgating scene was great. We literally didn't have any problems with anybody except for like one frat dude. And you're going to get that wherever you go in the SEC just screaming at us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, no, it was awesome. And let's see. I got a little photo here, Shane. I want to throw this up. Shout out my this was they were drinking shots, popping our SEC cherries, what they said. And this is my dad, who's not even like a drinker. He's over here doing Jell-O shots. I mean, everybody and their mother was like, thanking us for coming down. No trash. I mean, yeah, no trash talk. You know what I mean? It was a very welcoming experience. I recommend it to everybody. The layout's fantastic. There's bars, there's restaurants, all within walking distance. And for you, buddy, it's flat, so there's no hills. There's no hills to go anywhere. Yeah, it's a heck of a time.
How hot was it, Mike? How hot was it?
It's damn near 100 again. Both times I've been, it's been about upper 90s there.
Yeah, no, it looked like it was great. I had a whole bunch of folks send me some photos and wishing I was out there, but I was glad you got to experience it, Mike. And I think they're going to fit in with the SEC, brother. They're going to have to ramp up the trash talking though, because I'm going to warn you, when you come to these homes out here, you wait till you get barked at. You know what I'm saying? Down there in Athens.
yeah, no doubt. But yeah, it was a great time. I recommend it to anybody. And I just wanted to be there because it was like history, Shane. First conference game, well, SEC game for Oklahoma. But yeah, and if only they had an offensive line, Shane, they'd have one hell of a team. You know what?
buddy. I'm right there with you. And did you feel like they found a quarterback there? Or do you think that – I don't know. All right, we'll get into it.
Yeah,
we'll get into
I guess we'll just start right there, Shane. So, game of the week, it didn't quite – I don't know. You tell me if it lived up to it, Shane. Tennessee beats Oklahoma 25-15. It was sloppy. Oh, God, Shane, I'm sorry. I'm so hungover here. MyBookie, don't forget, proud sponsor of the show, whether I know it or not. MyBookie, the online sportsbook. Don't forget – go so we can take more of these trips to Norman. Go on over to mybookie.ag today, the online sportsbook, and put in that promo code that SEC. That's THAT SEC over at MyBookie, Shane. They're willing to double just like Boomer Sooner here, they're doubling your initial deposit over at MyBookie with that promo code THATSEC, THATSEC, with a minimum of a $50 deposit, a maximum of a $1,000 deposit. Do it so that next time we can afford to take Shane out there. You know what?
That's right. And I would have doubled your money if you would have picked them Arkansas Razorbacks. Look at me, back on the wagon.
What are you, 3-1 on your locks this year?
3-1, man. I'm feeling it. I'm dialed in, and I'm starting to wonder about the one I lost. You know, we may find out something later that I don't know if this thing was filmed from a Michigan guy or something, but we may find that. But no, I'm feeling pretty good about my picks up to this point, and we'll get to that game as well.
Right. Okay, so again, sorry about that, Shane. 25-15, Tennessee beats Oklahoma on the road. This was, like I said, I mean, it was, I don't want to take away from anybody, but this was a sloppy-ass game. That was my impression being in the stadium, was just one thing after another, Shane. It was ugly. I was anticipating a lot higher scoring game. I knew Oklahoma's defense was good. I thought Tennessee's defense was really good, and certainly that, but I didn't think they'd be this damn good. You know what? So
yeah.
It was just and literally, I don't know if I've ever seen this, Shane, where Tennessee had 2 turnovers, and then the very next play, Oklahoma responded with turnovers. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever seen something like that?
Maybe 1, but not 2, you know, and they weren't, they were unusual kind of turnovers too. It's just kind of fluky and watching those, when Oklahoma had that turnover in the red zone, I thought, you know, we've been hearing about the streak, how many touchdowns Tennessee hasn't allowed, yada, yada, yada. It's like, sure as shit, Oklahoma's going to punch this in. And then they turned it over themselves. And I'm just like, man, I know if you're reeling back this football game as a Sooner fan, you're saying, dude, if we would have just capitalized on the mistakes that Tennessee made, we could have made this a football game.
Yeah. Well,
you're not convinced?
Then again, Shane, Oklahoma averaged 1.1 yard, so just over 1 yard per rush because of this Tennessee defensive line. I mean, they were elite. But, I'm sitting here replaying it in my mind. Very first play of the game, Shane, was a bad snap.
Yeah.
And how about here? I thought this was the best way to break it down, Shane. Here is Oklahoma. Every first down they had in the football game at the first half, -5 yards. That was the bad snap. No gain, -2. 3, interception, which was just a horrible interception by Jackson Arnold. No gain, 7 yards, 4 yards. No gain, 12 yards. No gain. Lost a fumble. Safety, -2, lost another fumble, -4. So you could almost not start any worse than that for Oklahoma. I mean, every drive they were behind the 8 ball, and it was the offensive line again that had the false start that led to Tennessee getting that safety.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they could just literally do nothing against this Tennessee defense because their defensive line's so good. And Oklahoma, Bill Beambo, he didn't do shit with this offensive line despite what they were telling us they were going to do. But, again, I don't think it's the coach's fault. I think it's they don't have the players.
Yeah.
And that's what we said 1,000 times in the offseason. It doesn't matter who your damn coach is if you don't have the players. And Oklahoma right now up front does not have the players to play with a Tennessee. And they're probably – I'm going to throw up their schedule here, Shane. I mean, they don't have the guys to play with Texas. Hell, they may not even have the guys to play with, South Carolina's got a good D-line.
Yeah.
Auburn, we'll get to them. They even though they just lost, they got after Taylor Green. Ole Miss got a good D-line. Alabama, LSU, on and on and on. I'm not convinced. They're not going to lose all these damn games, but
right.
You can't convince me that they're going to win them all, or they're all losable, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, and that's the problem with offensive line. It's not like it's a quick fix. It's not like you could just say, "Hey, schematically, we'll make this work in the next couple of weeks." It's you got what you got, and I know you keep saying it's not the coach's fault, but It kind of is. I mean, recruiting's part of the coaching world, and it's not like it's Venable's first gig, and it's not like we just discovered we're coming to the SEC. And I know, recruiting is very volatile, and we talked about the transfer portal in the offseason, but I don't know. It feels like we probably should have been a little bit more aggressive in that department, because they are battered, bruised. And it doesn't matter who you put back here at quarterback. They're going to be running for their damn life, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why you were so, I think Michael Hawkins.
At least he's faster.
Yeah, exactly. He can run around. He can do a lot better in that regard. And maybe that's why he looked better.
Yeah.
But I would also add this, Shane. I mean, never. In all the games we've watched of Josh Heupel,
yeah,
I have never seen him take his foot off the gas, and he did it in this game.
Yeah,
because he knew. I mean, it was obvious to anybody watching that game. Oklahoma cannot do anything on Tennessee's defense, and let's just not blow this game. So, I think that's two things, Shane. I think that's a coach that has kind of evolved, because I don't think he would have previously done that.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it just speaks of his supreme confidence in his defense. And hell, we saw that a couple weeks ago when they played NC State. What did he say right after the game? This is a program built on defense. And I know everyone wants to get hype about Nico and the high flying offense and all this, but this is a program that got where it's been because of defense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think, and you also got to consider because I've seen a lot of criticism of. I don't think Tennessee's offense looked that great. But again, extremely hostile environment on the road, and you got to factor in both tackles. Their left tackle didn't even make the trip, and then their right tackle got hurt and had to leave the game. So you're doing this with backup tackles, and that was clear because Oklahoma's defense, which we told you was really, really good, they were getting after Nico. They were the ones forcing these turnovers. But just, again, credit to Tennessee's outstanding defense that would just turn around and get the turnover. Well, I don't know if I would credit them for the Jackson Arnold backwards pass, but credit them for jumping on it at the very least. But again, I mean, this was a game of two very, very good defenses.
Yeah,
and then Tennessee having a better offense with a better quarterback, making a handful of big time throws when they really needed it.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, and I felt that throttle myself, Mike, and as a burnt orange. I kept thinking to myself, like, is he doing it because he loves Oklahoma? If a spot comes open, is he leaving? So those are some of the sentiments that came to my mind until I saw the post game locker room activity. But I all in all, I do think that Tennessee just came out here. This was like a job, man. Just come out here, work your 9 to 5, clock out, go home, and that's what it kind of felt like. There was no bedazzling this thing, and that's what I think a lot of fans were expecting to see here. Watching the first 3 weeks, the 70-point football games, they were expecting a blowout, and I'm not saying that it wasn't in the realm of possibilities in this thing, but there was a little bit of a throttle and there was a little gamemanship here, and all in all, Tennessee just did what they needed to and got out of there.
Mm-hmm. How about this, Shane? There's only two teams in the country, Tennessee and Penn State, that are averaging at least 250 rushing and 250 passing yards per game.
Yeah. That's
pretty impressive. How about this? Tennessee's first road win over a top 15 opponent since 2006. When I believe you were down there, Shane, when they beat Georgia in Athens, 51-33.
What a comeback.
Shane was riding that damn bulldog down there. And for the second time in 3 seasons, Tennessee is 4-0. And you might say, well, hell, that's not that impressive, right? Well, prior to Josh Heupel, the last 2 times Tennessee has been 4-0. 2016, that year Butch blew it, and then 2003.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my goodness, Shane, over 20 years. You know what I mean?
Doesn't happen often, man. just tweet a Vol fan. They'll be sure to let you know how well we feel. So, I just thought too, interesting score, Mike. I'd be curious how many times there's been a 25 to 15 point football game. I would say it's pretty low. I say that may be like one of 3 to ever happen. What an unusual score.
Yeah, 1 of 3.
25 to 15. That's a tough number to get to.
What would be the panic meter though for you when it comes to Oklahoma? Because this has been a constant theme all season. This is not one outlier. I mean, I've kind of been saying, well, they can get this fixed. You're winning by 50 points. Who cares if you're going 1 for like 12 on third down? You're still winning by massive margins. You got to get some chemistry. And my goodness, Shane, here's another thing that stood out to me. Tennessee was really beating the hell out of the Sooners. Like that Barnes running back, he did have a really nice run, but he got popped.
Boo got him.
That's a trendsetter,
Yeah.
And then they had the devastating injury to one of their best defensive players, but the receivers were getting banged. I mean, they were just getting battered and bruised, and they have just been devastated with injuries. Oklahoma has, and heck, we're just a month into the season. What is the panic meter now that these injuries are acting up? It seems like, Shane, remember they brought Jackson Arnold to media days, and we made note of that. How very unusual that is for a redshirt freshman, true sophomore, whatever you want to call it, to bring a quarterback that young to media. That's basically unheard of.
Yeah.
And that was a message that this is, the face of the franchise, the future, and he may never start another game for Oklahoma. If Hawkins does well, he probably won't. You know what I mean? Like, what is the panic meter right now for Oklahoma, you think?
I think it needs to be up there, Mike, 7, 8. That offensive line is just – it's trash, and I hope they're not listening. I hope their parents aren't listening. I apologize. It's not your kids. I don't hate them. It's just as a group, they may be one of the worst I've seen in the SEC in a long time. And I'm looking at some of the defenses, like you mentioned, that are coming in. There are some injuries. There are some concerns. So on the flip side of that coin, we got to see a little bit of Nick come in for a minute, and then, of course, he leaves halfway through this football game. So you wonder, like, if they do get some of these weapons back, does that kind of help spark the offense? You can't afford any more injuries on that defensive front. And if they stay healthy, Mike, that's your saving grace. And you don't want it to be that, but that's what's going to keep you in some of these football games. You just need some sort of life from the offense. And, now that we realize that the offensive line, you're going to start seeing a little bit more of moving pockets. You're going to see screens and quick passes and trying to keep that pressure off your quarterback. I think there's ways that you can kind of disguise or at least slow down the threat of your quarterback getting killed. But I would say it's still sitting there at about a 7-8 because of what I saw your first true test in the SEC. And you got to remember, it's coming off a Houston game, you fought for your life, a Tulane game, you fought for your life, and then Tennessee came in here and pretty much punched their ticket.
Right. Well, tough debut for the Sooners, but again, you got an opportunity next week. We'll get all in on that, but That was. I mean, it was rough. I thought, quite frankly, I thought it was rough for both of them in a lot of spurts. You know what?
No, I'm glad you said that because Tennessee, they needed this game too. They needed a game where they just didn't steamroll somebody, that they actually had to fight, claw, and realize that, hey man, the path ain't getting easier. They got a lot of tough teams coming in as well, and if they don't straighten up, there's no way they're going to be in the if they play like this again throughout the rest of the season, they're not going to the college football playoffs. They're definitely going to have to fix some mistakes. The defense, tremendous. Love the defense, but the offense, I think they took a major step back, but it can be corrected. Now you've got film, something you can work on this week.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's give it over to this was pretty awesome. Shaden demanded we play this one, and I liked it. It was a good one too. I given this guy Shane on SEC Coach of the Week honors for all that went into everything this week, and really since this damn game was announced, this was a very emotional one here.
Good teams keep getting better. Keep getting better. I'm proud of the investment, the competitive composure, resetting to the next play, continuing to compete. Man, it's just us being us, all right? And let's just keep making us a better version every single day. You guys got me?
Yes, sir.
All right. This thing, coming back to normal, was never about me. It was not. But I appreciate you all having a little extra for me. I do. I love you guys, and I really mean that.
We know you go.
I know.
You took off.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of how we've grown. Damn, our best is still out in front of us. We got
Hell yeah.
one day at a time to just keep getting better. You guys got me?
Yes, sir.
All right, I love it. Bow your heads, grab two.
Yo. Hey, we did that for you, Coach. This game ball for you.
That's what I do to Shane after I watched his power rankings video the other night. You know what?
Oh, that's my boy. You're my boy, Blue. No, that right there, that's what it's all about. And damn, if you're recruiting somebody right now and you just see this, you just know that's a great place to play. University of Tennessee has got they're on a path, brother. You know, we just talked about all the bad things that happened in this football game, but the good thing is that Coach Heupel is a Vol for life. He loves Oklahoma. But there's no doubt in my mind that he's building something special there, and it's something special that these kids want to be a part of.
Well, you know where they're not on the right path, Shane?
Where's that?
Come
on the place.
Let's all go on down to Auburn, Shane, where Arkansas rolled into town. Cousin Shane's my bookie lock of the week. Buddy, he caught a whooping. And a whooping it was. Arkansas 24, Auburn 14. Oh, goodness gracious, Shane. Hank Brown. Again, let's shout out him. 3 interceptions. Peyton Thorne also had an interception. And this, Damari Austin had a awful fumble. They were about to score a touchdown. Could have changed the complexion of this game. But you're just not going to win any game, Shane, turning the ball over 5 times. And that's what Auburn did. Of course, Arkansas turned it over twice. Here's the thing, Shane. Taylon Green, he did have this amazing 58-yard touchdown pass to Isaiah Satania. But, again, not that he was, like, horrible or anything, but I thought he was even kind of off.
Yeah.
And you went in here and whooped their ass in a game you had to have. Hell, we were saying if they don't win this, they're probably not going to go to a bowl game. Sam Pittman's probably going to get fired, maybe not immediately, but just down the road. And here we are, 3-1, and we should be 4-0.
Yep.
But Arkansas is a team that seems like it finally is kind of figuring it out with the coaching, with the players, and heck, even their quarterback Taylor Green, he got banged up. He was able to come back in, but imagine saying, if you would have told me, Shane, that Taylor Green was going to go 12 of 27 for 151 yards.
Yeah.
And have to sit out. I'd be like, good God. Hugh Freeze done whooped Sam Pittman once again, right? But
yeah.
No, it was a complete opposite. I mean, this was, I don't want to say domination, but this was a game that Arkansas outplayed and out-physicaled the Auburn Tigers at Auburn.
Yeah. Mike, I don't know if those astronauts are back home, but if you were an astronaut in space and you were just locked up there for about 5-10 years and they finally got a rocket up there to get you back home, and then you listen to these press conferences, and I told you one of these coaches on the hot seat and one's not. I guarantee you after this presser, you would have said, well, damn, it has to be the Auburn guy, right? No. That's the part that drives me nuts, because I think you hit the nail on the head. I saw great coaching in here. Green did not have his best game. In fact, we've identified that he's a little bit of he's an anomaly. He's got a lot of talent, world of talent, but he does have those moments where he gets a little erratic with throwing the football. But I feel like these coaches recognize that. There was a series they benched Green, and it wasn't because they were upset with Green. They needed him to calm down. They needed him to kind of get back to what he was doing and playing football the right way. And I thought that was great coaching. And on the other side, it was almost like we were just changing quarterbacks to see who would throw the least amount of interceptions, you know. And Hank, he got a dose. You don't put out messages before football game, message board material that you're going to destroy Arkansas, because, dude, he got destroyed. This defense was tenacious. They were all over them. Both sides. I'm not going to say that Auburn's defense wasn't impressive, because they were. They made a commitment to slow down Green, but it just wasn't enough. There was too much firepower on the outside there.
Yeah, and shout out Cousin Eric. He's asking, did Hugh Freeze just take Napier's place on the Blantons list here? And Shane, funny old Cousin Eric would ask that, Shane, because I don't know. I'm talking to people that would know down there. It's getting interesting. It's getting interesting on the Plains. I'm not saying they're going to fire Hugh. Of course, they might. I mean, hell, I'm going to throw up their schedule here. Okay. I mean, again, 3-1 would have been seen as a failure with this opening slate. They're 2-2.
Yeah.
They got Oklahoma coming to town, which just looked awful on offense. Their quarterback situation is completely unknown. I mean, I didn't speak to a single Oklahoma fan, Shane, that does not want the offensive coordinator fired immediately.
Yeah.
So you lose to that. I mean, again, I'm not saying you will, but there's a chance. But more I'm looking at Georgia, at Mizzou, which we'll get to them in a minute, at Kentucky, which seems to be rounded into form. Vanderbilt all of a sudden looks good. Texas A&M just what? Oh, yeah, mighty Alabama. I mean, this same deal with them. How many more winnable games outside of ULM are there for the Auburn Tigers? I mean, 2, maybe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like this is, if he goes 4-8, he will get fired. I really do think.
Mike, it's funny because, you know, in the offseason, we talked about best case scenarios, and you had the win, loss, or toss. We've switched some of these tosses to losses. We switched some of these losses or wins to tosses. You know what I'm saying? It's like with the landscape of their schedule just got a little more daunting. You know, I'm not looking at one team until November 16th that is an easy victory for Auburn. And given their track record with teams they shouldn't lose to, I can't even say ULM is on that list. So, yeah, this is a team that really needs to rally, but it's tough when your coach is putting his own rat poison in his locker room. You know, say what you want. I mean, he comes out here a minute and he takes zero blame in this football game. He reminds me of my teenage daughter. You know, it's like it's everyone else's fault but mine. You know, it's like, I didn't make you late. You got up late. You know, it is your fault. You have to have some accountability. But the worst thing you can do is drop these little bombs in your locker room saying, well, if we had this guy, if he would have done better, you know, you cannot have that, or this thing will implode from inside.
Yeah, well,
they may already have. He may already lost him.
I mean, I don't understand why people didn't expect this. I mean, this guy has shown us who he is, and again, people, I think they get tired of me saying it, but it's all I do is tell the truth, Shane, and that's what gets me so fired up is when these people who cover this team, who, when the camera's not on, are saying the same thing. Yeah. And then we turn it on and, oh, Hugh, you know, he's reformed. He's a good guy. Yeah. And these same people were talking shit on him when he was at Ole Miss. Yeah. But then he's over here. He's like, oh, well, you know, he's a great guy. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like, we give it to you straight. And it's coming out, and it's, hell, it is what it is. He's a horrible person. And he will continue. He hasn't changed in 20 years. Yeah. I don't understand these people that say, well, everybody deserves it. I do believe it. Everybody deserves a second chance, Shane. But people don't deserve 20 chances. Yeah. And that's where we're at with Hugh Freeze. So, again, hey, we're going to bury him in just a minute. Some more, Shane. But I want to shout out SEC Defensive Player of the Week, Shane. Shout out TJ Metcalf for Arkansas, Shane. 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Forced fumble, 2 pass breakups, 4 tackles, and another tip that led to an interception. It's plays like this. Shout out Travis Williams. They gave him the game ball too at Arkansas, former standout Auburn linebacker, now, of course, defensive coordinator at Arkansas. His unit had a rough day against UAB last week. They bounced back in a huge way. They don't win this game. Again, you could sit here and blame every single one of players for Auburn, their quarterbacks and running backs, but hell, it's these Razorbacks that are forcing the turnovers. Yeah. So, I mean, you got to give them some credit too. But, I just want to shout out TJ Metcalf. Without him, they don't win this game.
No, absolutely not. That's one of the things. The swarming of the football, not just the guy that was carrying it, but if that ball was in the air, it was like a tip drill a lot of times with these guys. They were just hawking it out there. So, yeah, congrats to that defense. Sometimes defense don't get enough credit. It feels like that's all we talked about here for the first 2 games, but it is kind of nice starting to see some of these football games won by them.
Right. All right, now back to the Hugh bashing, Shane. He's 5-12 in his last 17 games against FBS competition. This elite coach we're getting here. Let's kick it over to him, Shane. After the game, ain't my fault. Just need some damn players that won't stop screwing up. Let's kick it over to Hugh. He's just one of the greatest guys in the game.
Unfortunately, this is what I know, and I know that there's people open, and I know that we're running the football. And we got to find a guy that won't throw it to the other team. And we got to find running backs that hold on to it. You know, that's a huge play there. I mean, we're going in to score. I don't know, what was it, 7-0 then, or so it's 7-7, and our defense gets a stop, and who knows what happens. But, you know, the scheme is what most everybody in the country is running some sort of. But you've got to have good play at quarterback for sure at whatever system you're going to choose.
And then after that, Shane, I think this is even more damning than any of these damn press conferences. But shout out our man Bo Wallace.
Oh God,
former Ole Miss quarterback, played for Hugh, knows Hugh quite well. Shane, he really went on in on his former coach here. I'm going to read this for you here. We're approaching the point where he's thrown so many quarterbacks under the bus that maybe nobody wants to play for him. His offense helped me tremendously, put up numbers when I blew out my shoulder, but why is it always someone else's fault when there's a loss? But when there's a win, I watch the press conferences and just count how many times the word I is used. Appreciate what he did for me, but my son wouldn't play for him. And he says he's got some other stories that he's keeping in his back pocket. Mentions, you know, all the medications and shots he's had to take just to play so that Hugh Freeze can get all this money. And I mean, this is a roasting of all roasting right after Hugh Freeze, for the second time this season, has called out his players. And again, Shane, this is the same guy. He could have went out and gotten any of these guys in the portal.
Yeah.
But he didn't do it. You know, I ain't spending money on these players. You know, that's I don't know. It's comical.
You just can't blame them. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm watching Pavia up here in Vanderbilt, and I keep bringing it up just because Hugh Freeze got a front row seat to it. You know, it's like if that kid were in Auburn right now, they'd be 4-0. And they'd be looking really good because he's got it. And anybody that watched that football game saw that. And it blows my mind that there was nothing in the portal for quarterback. He knew that Peyton Thorne was going to be his guy until he wasn't. And now he's like, well, if we just had a quarterback, you know, if I could just find one. It's like, dude, you didn't even go look. Yeah.
No, he
dude,
didn't.
you got Mike. You got so much shit. That's the thing. You got so much shit over that you know. Nobody's going to bring you up on a popular network now. You know, talking about the decision, the quote unquote what is the way Hughes is recruiting. It's like it's kudos to you, Mike. You saw it. Nobody was listening. I even kind of said you're kind of crazy, but I'm coming around. Mike was right.
Yeah, under the any of these viral Hugh Freeze takes I had, if you look closely, right under it's cousin Shane saying, "What an idiot I am."
What an idiot.
Hey, you know what? You know who also is an idiot though, Shane?
Who's that?
Truly, anybody that doesn't like free breakfast, free food, Shane, courtesy of our friends over at Hello Fresh. Come on. Head on over to Hello Fresh. Put in this promo code, Shane. Free SEC. FREESEC over at Hello Fresh. You know what they're going to do for you, Shane?
What are they going to do?
Free breakfast for life.
Yeah.
Come on, for the life of your subscription. If you sign up today for over at HelloFresh, they're going to give you free breakfast for life with the promo code FREE SEC. You just can't beat that, Shane. You can't. You know who doesn't do that? Hugh Freeze. He skips breakfast every day, and I could tell
And
you.
he blames everybody for being hungry. You know.
So for free breakfast for life, go to hellofresh.com/free SEC. I'll put a link in the show notes there, Shane. One free breakfast item per box while the subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to hellofresh.com/free SEC.
God, my stomach's growling.
And hey, while you're at it, go to my bookie too, Shane. I mean, Shane's on a heater. I'm on a heater. I don't have to brag about it, but I got my lock of the week right. I think I've only missed one this year as well, Shane. So maybe this is just our year. Maybe we just can't miss. We're taking coaches down. We're picking who's going to get fired, who's going to win all these damn games. This is just our year. Tennessee's probably going to win the national championship. You know what?
That's right, man. I mean, we just keep talking it up, and it's happening. So, hey, we're making money. We're doubling money. Get over to my bookie. Help us out. Help us help you. You know.
Well said, Shane. You know who else kind of needs some help right now, though?
Who needs help, Mike?
Mizzou. Come on.
Oh,
what are we
God.
doing here, Mizzou? What are we doing here? 30-27. And quite frankly, I think they should have lost this damn game.
They should have.
There was opportunities for Vanderbilt. I feel sick for Vanderbilt. I don't know what in the world's going on with my man Brady Cook. I'm going to get cooked on my preseason takes on him. But I do want to shout out Nate Noel, Shane, 24 carries, 199 yards. Luther Burden, we got to get him more involved, 6 catches, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns, including massive touchdown in overtime that kept Mizzou alive. Without Luther Burden, they lost this damn game.
Yeah.
But also, Diego Pavia, my goodness, my goodness. No wonder you were just talking him up. 14 of 23, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and led Vanderbilt with 84 rushing yards. He is sensational, and if he was not playing for New Mexico State and now Vanderbilt, I think more people around the country. I mean, my God, Shane, if he played at Colorado, we'd never stop talking about old Diego Pavia. I mean, he is that good. He's just not getting a ton of attention. But Vanderbilt, this is what I was worried about, Shane. I said it. I said it all week. This really could be a close game. I didn't think it would be overtime type game, but are you worried now about your Missouri Tigers here?
Very, very worried. You know, I keep making excuses for them, and we're 4 weeks into this thing, and I have zero confidence in any like this. We got an A&M bet coming up, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose it, brother, because I feel like this team is losing more and more respect each week they go through. You know,
right?
And it almost feels like I said this on I don't know if you saw this on the Power Ranking show I did by myself here the other day. It was fantastic, good work. But I felt like there's something off with Brady, man. I don't know if you're sensing it, and I don't know if maybe the pressure is just gotten too much for him. But it just feels like almost that this is his first football game, and he's making stupid mistakes that you would expect a year 1, year 2 quarterback, not Cook 2024, you know?
Right. Well, and I have heard some speculation. Maybe he's injured. I don't know. They've done that before where they kind of course, you know, it's not to their advantage to say if someone's injured. But and there was also, remember we did this recently, Shane, for Mark Poops and his terrible clock management. You'll probably get on him here in a minute. But Eli Drinkwitz, I'm giving him Worst Coach of the Week award, too. What in the hell was he doing at the end of the first half? Yeah. Going for it on 4th down. Conceded 3 points to Vanderbilt in this tight game, in a game where you can't move the ball. I don't know what in the hell he's doing. And late in the game, too. Bad clock management. It reminded me of last year, Kansas State He really screwed the pooch there, but thank goodness he had the thicker kicker bailed him out. And
Yeah.
thankfully his team bailed him out this season too. He took responsibility after the game, so I guess credit for that. But we just can't be doing this.
No.
You're doing this against Vanderbilt. If you do this against A&M next week, you do it against Alabama, they're going to crush you. So, and Cousin JC in the comments, Shane, said, Vanderbilt needs that female kicker back because they missed a field goal in overtime. That ended the game there. So,
I was afraid. I was honestly afraid that I was going to try to do the emergency podcast, but as you know, I had everything set up for the power rankings, and I was like, I didn't want to get in there and mess everything up, dude. I've never prayed for a field goal to go wide left in my life. I think Mizzou just got out of church. They've been praying all day, thanking the Lord for giving them an opportunity to be 4-0, because you are right. They tried in every way possible to give this football game away. Mizzou fans are frustrated. They're confused. They don't know what this identity is. Thank God this defense is playing good football, Mike. If you look at their second half production, as much as we give Pavia credit, they kept him in check pretty much that second half. And if they didn't, we'd have us a big upset here. So, brother, I don't know. I feel like Mizzou, it's too late. It's too late. Like, this is what they are, and if we keep playing like this moving forward, there's no way in hell they're making the playoffs.
right. Cousin Robert, appreciate you with the donation.
Hey, thanks, cuz.
He said, Brady, or Mizzou really needs this bye week. Brady needs to get back in the kitchen. Yeah. I mean, well said right there. And someone else, I may have lost it here. I apologize. But someone said, well, what if here it is, Cousin Richard. What if Missouri's passing game is clicking? How do you feel then? But we're a month into the season.
Yeah.
We can't be, well, what if this? They kind of are who they are.
Yeah.
We've been waiting. This is the one we said. If it doesn't happen now, I'm hitting the panic button.
Yeah.
And again, this doesn't mean Missouri's going to be terrible or anything like that, but they're not making the playoff the way they're playing. Again, Boston College had a big lead on them. They responded. They got it done. Right out the gate, Vanderbilt jumped on them. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They're not playing like a playoff caliber team at this point in time.
No.
Are they?
No, but can they? Can they? Do you see that? Do you see a rebound in their future? Or does it come down to, because I don't want to give, it wasn't just the chef, it was that offensive line. It was some terrible play calling. You gave Coach Drink the award for worst coach of the week. There were some other factors that led to this football game, and unfortunately Brady does kind of have to shoulder all that. But do you see an opportunity for them to and it's crazy, they're 4-0, Mike. It's not pretty, but at the end of the day, they had more points than the other team. They've not lost anything. Do you think they can bounce back during this Texas A&M? I mean, because
they better. They better. I mean, that's what they could get exposed. That's what I'm worried about. Going on the road, playing a quality opponent, the way they're playing, they will get exposed. Now, I'm not sitting here guaranteeing it or anything, but I'm just saying that looks possible to me. It really does. Maybe just it's those Oklahoma folks, those fine Oklahoma folks rubbing off on me. But every damn one of them wanted me to know how bad Missouri sucks, and I was like, no, they're good. You just gotta pay attention. And they're like, Vanderbilt's beating them, and I was like, oh god, maybe you're right. I mean, you can't talk shit when that's happening.
No, you can't. Man, Coach Lee about had him one, didn't he? About had him one.
Oh, shoot. Hey, Shane, shout out.
Hey, thanks,
Cousin Anthony. He says, shout out to Andrew Johnson, big Mizzou fan, passed away 29 years, just 29 years
wow.
old. Sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry, cuz. Yeah.
Give him a shout out. How about this one, Shane? J.W. Horn just gave us $50.
Thanks, cuz.
You guys must make it to a Red River rivalry. Hook 'em hordes. I mean, that's what I'm dying to go to. I don't know about you, Shane.
Dude, I've been getting these messages, and they said, "Hey, you got to check out this." It's all Oklahoma fans, and they said, you got to come out to this game. It's going to be awesome, but just don't come this year.
Wait till they can match up with them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I would love to. I would love to go out there, see I mean, you kidding? Drink the wax beers, eat the corn dogs, fried pecan pies, whatever they got out there, buddy. I may not even make it to the football game, just living out there eating that fair food, you know? Just
Right.
kidding.
Well, hey, I mean, you're the one that's the Mizzou Nostradamus, though. What,
Yeah.
Do you think Mizzou will fix this?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I feel like it's got to be internal, though. This isn't something that Drink can do. One thing that I did notice is a little frustration, and I called them divas on power ranking yesterday, but I sensed it with Weiss and Burden especially, you know, and you got to remember those kids, they're probably the voice of that locker room. But there's got to be buy-in from everybody. It's not just two teams. You know, it's just not the guy with his face on the bag of chips behind you. If Mizzou is really going to make some noise, it's got to be all 11 on offense, all 11 on defense. And I feel like there was a little bit of disconnect, and you sense that finger pointing and stuff like that, you know. So I wouldn't, if anybody's listening right now, I'd convince one or two of them kids to have a players only meeting and kind of, you know, just get back to what they were last year. Last year they played as a team because everybody doubted them. This year there's a lot more spotlights, a lot more thumbs pointing this way, and I'm kind of sensing that on the football field, Mike. So yeah, I think there's still an opportunity. This Vanderbilt should have been a wake-up call because Mizzou's got a really good football team, but it can get out of hand if they don't have control over it.
Mm-hmm. Matt says he'd buy you corny dogs and all the fried beer you can eat, cousin
Come
Shane.
on now. There's Texas. I knew they were down there somewhere.
And then Man with the Plan says, drink standing on styrofoam. All right, the other conference game we had here, Shane. I was posted up in a bar. Shout out O'Connell's there in Norman. I got to watch this one at the bar. Florida beats Mississippi State 45-28. And man, this was an interesting one. Shane, Gators jumped out to 28-7 lead.
Yep.
Made Mississippi State look really bad, but credit Mississippi State for sticking in there and never quitting in this matchup. That Mississippi State actually outrushed them, Shane, 255-226. Really tough news, though. The starting quarterback Blake Shapen is out for the season. They announced after this game. But this game was won, Shane, because Florida in the red zone, 5 for 5, 35 points on those 5 trips. Meanwhile, Mississippi State, 4 of 6 in a red zone for 28 points and 2 turnovers. So you don't turn the ball over, you convert there, you probably win this football game. Mm-hmm. I don't know what in the hell Billy Napier's doing with his quarterbacks either. I mean, they both looked both looked good in this game, but the rotation is nonsensical. If I recall, Shane, it was like 3 possessions it took for Florida to score. As soon as they score, switch quarterback. As soon as they got rhythm, he would switch them. I mean, it's like he's got a plan and he's got to stick to the plan, and it's like it's written down. And regardless of what's happening in the game, we got to switch him out. I mean, it's crazy, but that's kind of where we're at with old Billy. It's kind of crazy right now. You know what?
Only Billy can make winning look so bad, you know? I was right there with you. When Mertz, I think there was only 2 or 3 incompletions in this football game, but say what you want, I felt like Mertz had the better handle of the two, and I understand the love for DJ and bringing him along and making him a part of this offense because that's what the fans ultimately want, but it doesn't take a wise man to see that Mertz was your best quarterback, has been, I think, for the last 2 weeks here. Right. And not saying DJ can't be. It's good that he's getting valuable reps, but I just don't think he's getting them the right way. It's chaos. It's controlled chaos, and it's, I don't know. It's it drives me nuts because, again, this became a little bit of a football game late. I realized two things: that Mississippi State has ultimately the worst defense in the country, and Florida defense isn't far behind. Very, very soft. Very, I mean, a lot of room up front. They're going to have to. Maybe that's why they're using all these quarterbacks, Mike, because they're going to have a couple shootouts in their future if they're gonna win some more football games.
And it just gets worse too for State, because not only is your quarterback out for the season, but your next two games at Texas, at Georgia.
Oof.
I mean, it's not going to be pretty here. You know what?
No, and I hate it because, Shapen, he was just, I mean, you talk about some of the transfers, not a lot of respect for that kid, but he put it out there. He was willing to lower his shoulder, which probably he shouldn't have done. That's kind of probably why he's in this situation. But he did leave it all on the football field. What's the kid's name? It's behind Van Buren, I believe. True freshman, but there's something to him, man. I'm not saying Mississippi State's going to surprise some folks, but I don't think there was a noticeable drop when he came in. Very athletic. I think he's going to be a good part to this offense, and
adds a new dimension that they didn't have.
Exactly. Just unfortunately, he can't play defense.
And then an update, because that's all Florida fans really care about, is the coaching search, which is not even a search yet, but we know it likely will be. Bruce Feldman. Over there at the Athletic Fox Sports Chain, at their, they do their own pregame show. He says right now, people inside the coaching business think that Florida may not be as attractive as a job as Missouri or Ole Miss. So he's not obviously attaching the names that everybody is, but Drink and Kiffin, obviously. So that's pretty interesting. And he's not a guy that, again, he doesn't just throw stuff against the wall, or he's very, very credible in my experience. So what's your thoughts on that? Because I think I know exactly why he's saying this, but I'm just kind of curious what you hear, what you think of when you hear that Florida may not be as attractive as Missouri and Ole Miss.
I still think Florida has it. It's just the problem is they bought in too late. It was almost like, I always think of them old farts that maybe have a business and they don't want to change their ways because everything's working or was working. But, they start slowly. They don't see it, but on the back end, these customers stop coming in because there's a nicer restaurant down the street. That's kind of what the Florida Gators did. They said, hey, we've won national championships here. Florida sells itself. People are going to come here. Well, then all of a sudden, you didn't update your facilities. You didn't go out and you paid the big money for the coaches. And all this stuff that you didn't do has led to this situation right here, and it's almost too late. So I'm not saying that it's a worse job. I'm just saying that it's on an even playing field now. And Florida used to just be one of the top blue chip programs that everybody wanted to go to. I think it's kind of lost its luster now that the NIL's here, now that the transfer portal's here. It's not just who's got the biggest locker rooms anymore. The kids want to get paid and they want to play.
I'm glad you said that, Shane. Cousin Tyler is right there with you, and that's exactly where I was going with this. There's two things here. There's the leadership and the what's the word they're always used? Just how put together a program is. Mm-hmm. And right now at Florida, it's basically in shambles. They have no president. Most people assume the AD is going to get fired. I have seen reports that they're going to keep Scott Strickland, let him make the next coaching hire. But again, it's in transition, and you don't even know who's going to be your boss. You don't know who the president's going to be. But you and Tyler hit on the most important aspect is NIL. Yeah. And believe it or not, I think some people think Florida's got all these mega boosters. They really don't. Now they got money down there. I'm not saying they're broke or anything, but it's not like Texas or Texas A&M or something like that. Or, they don't quite have that. And then they're going to have to buy a Billy out. They're going to have to buy a new coach. And then they're going to have more for NIL. So here's the deal. No more does it matter. Was Florida better than Ole Miss? Is Florida better than Missouri? That doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. Here's what's going to matter to every candidate, whether it's Drake, whether it's Josh Heupel, whether it's Dan Lanning, whoever. You could throw out any name, Sarkisian. they're going to ask, and they're going to have to get this confirmed. How much money do you have, Florida, to go into NIL? Because Lane Kiffin, let's say his budget is $15 million at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
He's not going to Florida for a $10 million NIL budget. He probably won't go unless they guarantee, and they have it, that we got 20 in NIL.
Mm-hmm.
And the second he has that, he probably takes it back to Ole Miss and says, hey, they got $20 million in NIL. Can you match or beat that? That's what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Because particularly if it's Kiffin, because Kiffin's smart enough. He's ahead of everything on all this. Since the day he got hired, he was ahead on the portal. He was ahead on NIL. And this is exactly what he did with Auburn, where he used that to get more money through the NIL and better contract at Ole Miss. And he'll do that every year. And that's why you have not heard Kiffin. Of course, they may win the national championship, so he's kind of preoccupied. But you haven't seen Kiffin come out here and say, hey, I ain't going to Florida.
Yeah.
Why would he? Because he is going to use that to get more NIL money. And that's smart. It's a smart way to do it.
Oh, leverage. They don't call him Leverage Lane for nothing. You know?
Well, speaking of leverage, Shane, I guess that's a perfect, well, not perfect, but LSU, both at L here. LSU beats UCLA here 34-17. And really, I mean, more or less dominated the football game, Shane, but it was tied 17 at halftime. And I'm gonna throw something at you, Shane. Feel free to bat this down. LSU may be the worst first half team in the damn SEC, and I think they may be the best second half team in the SEC. As crazy as that sounds, but they have dominated LSU and Nichols and South Carolina in the second half, but they let these games linger. So I don't know. Would you buy that, Shane, that LSU right now is the best second half team in the conference?
At this moment, I could see that, and you could credit Kelly with that maybe adjustment there at halftime, but they were booing. You know, the fans were booing Kelly as he was going to the locker room in that first half. So this was a tale of two halves, and kind of the not just the football games, but the seasons. You know, we look at the last 2 years, another slow start for LSU, and then maybe they ramp up here during the second half.
Cousin Rusty says Cousin Shane needs an NIL deal from Nautica.
Come on now.
But Garrett Nussmeier was on fire, Shane. 352 yards, 3 touchdowns. He is really heating up, liking what I'm seeing. And hey, we hit the century mark. We outrushed somebody. So maybe we're putting the pieces together. Again, the defense is still giving up too many plays for my liking. And then we've had a potentially devastating injury, Shane. Harold Perkins injured his knee.
Yeah. And
the fear is it may be season ending. That's not been officially announced, so don't quote me on that. Let's hope it's not that. But, man, for a defense that's already inconsistent, it's kind of a kind word.
Yeah.
Can't be losing arguably your best player or most talented player. You know what?
No, and I will say I saw a little bit more of – I did like some of those dynamic pressures that they were putting on UCLA here, and a lot of that was with Perkins' presence. Maybe not him, putting his feet or his hands in the ground, but definitely being a big part of that defense. So, yeah, that would be a huge blow for this team for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, how about and they better be getting ready here, Shane, because my word, Ole Miss, a couple weeks is coming to town, Shane. 52-13 over Georgia Southern, just whooping them, Shane. How about Jackson Dart, 22 of 32, 382 yards, 4 touchdowns. Trey Harris, my word, 11 catches, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ole Miss outrushed Georgia Southern 219-53. Georgia Southern had 5 3-and-outs. Ole Miss had none. And how about this, Shay? This blew my mind. This is from our buddy Cole Kublik. Ole Miss is plus 198 point differential so far this season.
Yeah.
That's the highest in SEC history after 4 games. 220 points scored is also the most scored after 4 games in SEC history. And the first team in SEC history with 600 yards in 4 straight games. So, I mean, yes, the competition is not what some of these others are, but I'm more impressed with a team that goes out here and completely obliterates the opponents in front of them, because we could go up and down the list. Basically, everybody's played at least one, if not two, cupcakes, and they've not obliterated them, and Ole Miss has obliterated all of them.
Every one of them. And again, nobody's talking about them because they're not watching them. They're tough to find on TV. They put them on SEC this time, so that made it a little bit easier. But yeah, that's what Ole Miss is up to this point. They're just going out here, doing what they're supposed to, putting up monumental numbers. Jackson Dart, I like Cole's stats. I don't know. I never took Cole as a stat guy, but damn, he's got some ringers. But I will say, after one of the big ones I saw was just the yards that Jackson has had passing during the first 4 weeks is got to be some sort of record. If not, Google it, Cole. It's got to be up there somewhere. So, but I'm thinking right now, here's a team that did not squander those. They got the cupcakes out of the way. It's SEC from here on out. We've not put Ole Miss has got zero airtime during August and September, but come October, they're going to be toward the top of that list.
Right. Well, who else could be there, Shane, that I didn't see coming? Shout out South Carolina, 50-7 over Akron. And how about this, Shane? SEC Offensive Player of the Week. I'm giving it to my man, Robbie Ashford. Come on, brother. If you would have told, and I swear, this is the truth, Shane. If you would have told me, and I kind of knew it, I knew Beamer. Shout out Beamer. I'm not trying to call him out or anything, but I'll just put it this way, Shane. If we were playing poker with Beamer, I'd whoop his ass, because he's so bad at bluffing. I do all this seller stuff. Oh yeah, he told me he's gonna play. Like, what in the hell does that even mean? It's not up. You don't just let the players make these determinations, but that's neither here nor there. I had a feeling that Sellers was not going to play, and I said it. I said, watch out, man. This Akron team, they may beat South Carolina. It could be a letdown performance. It was anything but, Shane, and that's a huge credit to Robbie Ashford.
Yep.
15 of 21 passing for 243 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also led the team with 133 rushing yards and another touchdown. USC outrushed Akron 297-49. And my goodness, Shane, we had another one. Shane said, we got to get this on the show. They're hyping up. Did they have to change the offense or anything? Because Robbie Ashford, he ain't Lenore Sellers. We saw that last week. He struggled mightily. Did we have to adjust it for Robbie Ashford this week?
How much would you guys say that the offense either was scaled down or tweaked just to accommodate Robbie, if at all?
Not at all.
That's like me and Shane. We were out at the bar. They asked if we want a beer or water. You know what?
Absolutely. So, buddy, hey, this is a big one. I know you're looking at Akron. It's no big deal, but these are teams that give South Carolina fit. It's in game placement right after an emotional loss. This was typical. Let's go to the wire in the fourth quarter, up 10 points or something like that. This was a big game, man. Just go out here, get that win. You got, I wonder if Hugh Freeze was watching this game. Like, I wish I had that quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But no, you ran his ass off. And if you give Robbie, that's the thing. This offensive line gave Robbie time. And if Robbie has time to throw the football, he was able to throw the football. Looked really good out there. So this is a big win for South Carolina.
Yeah, this is a program that is, or more likely a team, because this is a young team. This is a young team getting confidence and buying into what the coaches are telling them, and it's evident to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's and the players too. You know what I'm saying? There's a little swag. You see it with was that Juju and who was the other one? I missed it, but it doesn't matter. These kids are having fun, and that's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear hot seat talk from dumbasses in East Tennessee. You want to hear, hey, this should be a top 25 team, 4-0. We just got screwed by the rest, but we're moving forward and going to make a name for ourselves. That's where South Carolina's at right now.
Yeah, the other guy was Oscar Attaway. I believe he scored 2 touchdowns to the transfer from North Texas. He had a ball game himself. But who didn't, Shane? I got to go back and study this game because I'm trying to figure out how was this a 6-point contest, Shane?
Oh, gosh.
Texas A&M 26, Bowling Green 20. And, man, our old buddy, Connor Bazelak, Shady, fair to say he outdueled Marcel Reed a little bit here. Bazelak had 250 pass yards, touchdown and a pick. Marcel Reed, he did have 2 touchdowns, 173 passing yards, led the team with 91 rushing yards. So I'm not saying Marcel Reed's bad or anything, but maybe it's a little smoke and mirrors whooping up on Florida, but I was anticipating a little bit more from them fighting Aggies. They did win the rushing edge 238 to 106. And again, red zone critical, 4 of 4 for 16 points. You'd like to see a lot more points than that, but Bowling Green was only 2 of 4 for 6 points. That's how you win these games that are close, even when they shouldn't be, against old freaking Bowling Green here. But thoughts on this matchup, Shane?
Oh, man, I tell you what, these boys need a refund. If you paid money to watch this damn offense play, that's where I'm at. Not only is it a ugly-ass Bowling Green jersey in there, but this offense was lethargic. It was vanilla. It was just I don't want to call it trash, but it was not fun. It was not exciting, and there no wonder there was no viewership for it because there was a lot more better football games on. So I'm a little worried in that department. You know, I thought Reed would be the guy, the saving grace here, and you know, especially after that Florida game, use that as a launch pad. We finally got a guy, but after this game, Mike, I'm thinking Connor needs to come back and try again. And I know that's not what you probably want to hear, but look at this schedule. Arkansas is now not easy. Mizzou, right. Top 7 team. LSU right there. There is some very tough football games coming up the next 4 weeks, and I'm not sure that this offense can vault them to a 4-0 record during these guys.
Yeah, and I don't know what's worse, Shane, that maybe there's not like you think that you have no answer at quarterback or the fact that every week you think it's a different guy. You know, I mean, I don't know what's worse here, but again, it speaks to a lot of different things, and we just can't. If we go all season long, well, man, we should be playing Wigman. Oh man, we should be playing Reed. Oh, we should be playing Wigman. That means they're looking poor and they're losing games.
Yeah.
So particularly coming up here against Arkansas, we'll get to the spreads here in a minute, but you referenced that, Shane. Now Arkansas, this is a huge game, and I know Texas A&M, you own Arkansas and all that, but quite frankly, who do you got more confidence in coming into this football game? I think it'd almost have to be Arkansas, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right now, definitely Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
I mean, things could change.
I don't blame you.
Things could change, but I'm feeling like right now, kind of what you said. You had Connor injury, so you had an opportunity, and maybe Connor could have played this week, and they just said, "Hey, let's just see what the young kid could do."
Right.
And now you could say, "Well, it was Connor the whole time." I feel like you could kind of save face here, and that's probably what we're going to see. But I don't think we bounce back and forth with quarterbacks because, like you said, that would create, a Florida Gator situation, and nobody wants that.
Well, where they may not have a quarterback competition quite to the level Shane was trying to hype it up, Shane. 51-3, the Texas Longhorns beat the hell out of ULM. How about this, Shane, for the drive chart for Texas? They started with an interception, but then touchdown, another pick, touchdown, punt, touchdown. Meanwhile, the defense, lockdown defense they got down there in Austin, punt, interception, punt, field goal, missed field goal, punt, safety, punt, interception. They completely shut down that booty down there at ULM. Arch Manning, 258 yards passing, 2 picks, but 2 touchdowns as well. And they dominated on the ground, 243-65. This is what we want to see on the ground because they had been, I don't want to say struggling, but not elite by any measure on the ground. But they have been elite on defense, Shane. They held ULM to 54 pass yards and 57 rush yards. Did whatever the hell they wanted to them. And they're just playing with their food down there in Austin. You know what?
Absolutely, man. And I know Arch Manning, he secured the storylines coming into this thing. I'm not saying that he lost or anything because he looked really good, but we did see an interception early, so we realized that Peyton Manning or Arch Manning, I get one of them right here. So I've been drinking again. That he is human, and but I do think that also. There's not quarterback controversy. I want to keep saying that. This is not a quarterback race, even though it keeps getting brought up. This is your job, and I think
you were trying to make it one.
I was not. I think the storyline. The storyline should be the defense. The fact you gave this football team 50 plays and they could barely get 100 yards, by God, it could be against a high school football team. That's impressive. So that's the storyline here. Texas may have the best defense in the country.
Yep. Oh, hey, shout out our buddy Cousin
thanks,
Rick.
Cuz.
Hugh Grease is pathetic. I agree with you there, Cousin Rick. Aggies take the W. Bring on Arkansas. Then watch out, Mizzou. So appreciate you, Cousin Rick.
Thanks, Cuz.
But yeah, I mean, Texas looking good, Shane.
Does that work? That do anything?
Yeah, I heard.
Hey, I still got access. I figured you erased my credentials when you came back.
All right, last one here, Shane, to break down, and I'm going to lean on you because you were you were helping me with this when I was at the bar. Kentucky put a whooping on Ohio. I thought this would be a game, Shane. It was not.
No.
Brock Vandegrift, 17 of 24, 237 pass yards. How about Dane Key, Shane? 7 catches, 145 yards, including one amazing hurdle. But the difference for this one, Shane, finally, we got some explosive plays.
Yep.
How about this? Kentucky, 11 pass plays of 15 or more yards and 7 rushes of at least 10 or more yards. Where has this Kentucky offense been? Hell, we'd be undefeated if we had this offense.
Absolutely, man. And it felt like there was moment in this game that Stoops says, you know what? I can be aggressive. We can be fun. We can be exciting, And I feel like that was the moment that Kentucky finally opened up some of those explosive plays, brother. And the defense. I must commend the defense. Very, very suffocating. A lot of turnovers in this football game. And they've been creating fumbles. They've just not been recovering them. So Kentucky defense, if you're given an award for this football game, besides the kicker, they're the ones that get it.
Well, hey, we've got someone in the pros down here who wants to bench Vandegrift. I know you were kind of getting on Vandegrift on the power rankings. Thoughts on that?
Well, I don't want to say bench, but he puts himself in some bad positions. This is a kid that still looks to run before he throws. And given some of the weapons that they have around him, I feel like some of these explosive plays, the reason they're not running them is because they're afraid of what this loose cannon is going to pull off here. So I don't think you come off a 41-6 win and bench the starting quarterback, but life does not get easier.
Right.
You're looking at the schedule here. You got Ole Miss. Well, I don't know. Maybe it does get easier. Vanderbilt, Florida, Auburn. You know what? Just keep rolling with Brock. Figure this damn thing out, man.
But I know Wimsatt came in there and looks pretty good, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I don't. It's kind of wild how the quarterback carousel has happened this weekend. We saw a lot of new faces, and it feels like we're a little late in the season for this. But again, if that's what it takes to fire up the offense, if that's what it takes to fire up this fan base, I'm willing to do anything because you've said it, I've said it. There's an opportunity at Coach Stoops. This is his last year, and I feel like when he called that timeout on that 4th down and went for it, that was the moment he was like, fuck it, what do I got to lose? That's the attitude that Kentucky needs to have here. Don't be conservative. Let them hang. Let's play some football here because you don't want to have any regrets. And I feel like if we kept playing the way we had the first 4 games, the next 8 games, Kentucky's going to be a 6-6 football team, and we're going to be pissed off at the coach. But there is an opportunity to really make some noise here, but you're going to have to play aggressive, and you're going to have to think outside the box. You got to do things. If it's starting a different quarterback, then do it, man. Just be creative here, and you've got nothing to lose, Coach. If you're listening, I know you're not, but if you are, just let them go.
All right, Shay, last thing we always like to do, the opening lines. We're going to have you guess. And buddy, we're into the heart of the schedule.
Yeah.
We do got one non-conference, but the rest are league games. This is going to be the best weekend to date of SEC football. Guess the opening line, Shane. South Alabama at LSU. And South Alabama, I think they're on a little bit of a heater.
LSU 27.
Ooh, 10 off. It was LSU 17.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, South Alabama, watch out for them.
Come on now.
I think they're the Jaguars. How about Mississippi State at Texas?
Texas 35.
You about nailed it. 36 in favor of them Longhorns down in Austin. How about Kentucky at Ole Miss?
Ooh, Ole Miss 28.
20.
Ooh, come on.
Even better. Arkansas A&M in Jerry World, hopefully for the last time ever.
Wait, this is the bet, ain't it? No, that's the next
Nope.
one. Arkansas, give me Arkansas 3.5.
See, this is why you're going to lose the bet next week, Shane. A&M favored by 6.
Ooh.
Vegas loves A&M.
Yeah, watch this one move.
Oklahoma at Auburn.
Oklahoma 7.5.
4.
Okay.
And this is where SEC Nation and Feinbaum are going. How about that? I mean,
Is it just first to 4 wins or?
and then game of the week, college game day, maybe the game of the year. Georgia at Alabama. We're going to be talking about that one all week. Opening line for that one.
Man, game day just loves the SEC, don't they? There's no other conference out there. Give me Georgia. Georgia 4.5.
1.5.
Ooh,
Nearly a pick 'em here.
come on, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I want to run through some of these too, Shane. Shout out Cousin JR. Man, what a guy he is.
There he is, family man.
Donated another one. We appreciate you, Cousin JR. He donated to Tim Skilton. Welcome, Cousin Tim, to the family over
Welcome,
here.
Tim. We got an Uncle Tim.
Yep.
We call him Turtle.
And we can't even get him on here. You know what I mean?
No, we can't.
And shout out Cousin Gary. He just became a member of the channel.
You think I would be called Turtle? I never thought of that. All right, yeah. Hey, welcome, Gary.
And then I think Shane did this under his secret name here. Power T says if Oklahoma didn't fake an injury after every big play, score would have been a lot worse, and the field condition was so bad. You know what?
Oh my God! They need whoever the management there is, they need to be shot. No, don't do that. But that turf was the worst I've seen ever in a long time.
A lot of players slipping.
Yeah.
Rural Vol, he says 25-15. That happened 15 times, 2 times in 2002. I don't know how he would know that, but maybe he read it somewhere or something.
Wow. Okay, but still 15 times. That's not a lot. All them football games out there.
Right. Cousin David, he said, thank you, Hugh, for the path to Ole Miss to Kiffin. The firing is what got us where we're at today. Go Rams. Maybe Hugh is a good guy after all. He was just hooking them up.
He was helping them out right there. Absolutely.
Yep. Cousin Anthony says if Auburn stops gifting the other team the ball, they will win games. Both of their losses are because they turn the ball over 5 times each game. Frustrating as poop. Well, that's true. But, Shane, they could have 0 turnovers, and they're going to lose to Georgia.
Yeah.
And maybe Mizzou. And Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that is how you lose to Cal and Arkansas. But if you have 1 turnover, you're going to lose to most of these teams here.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I hope I am wrong for their sake.
No, I mean, turnovers was obviously the big piece in this game, but it was also a physical game. I will say, out of all the football games I watched Saturday, Mike, probably the hardest hits came from this one. This was a very defensive front football game, but you're right. It's at the end of the day, it's about who has the most points, not the least. So, well, I guess you know what I mean.
Right.
It's getting late. It's getting late in the show, Mike. You know what I mean.
How about cousin David? He says Ole Miss starts SEC play this weekend, will beats Kentucky easily, and he just got me thinking. That I think is Kentucky's path to upsetting Ole Miss. What do you think about that? Out physical them.
Yeah.
You know, just
or try.
You know, big hits.
Yeah.
Punish them. Show them, hey, you ain't playing Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, Georgia, Mississippi, whatever the heck these schools are you play. You're playing big boy. That is an advantage in Kentucky's favor. They played 2 conference games already.
Yeah.
They are up to the speed and physicality of the conference slate, while Ole Miss is not. You know, obviously, I still heavily favor Ole Miss, but again, that is a path I think to Kentucky make it a ball game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And then David came back one more time. 42-6 Ole Miss. Which, I mean, I don't blame you for predicting that. You know what?
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen from these 2 teams.
Oh, shit. That's good.
All right, buddy. So anything else here before each of us? It's 7:30 my time almost.
Yeah.
8:30 your time. I think we're both about to go to bed.
Dude, it was a wild weekend, stressful weekend. Took a little extra blood pressure medicine this morning, you know, just because it was stressful. But I will say it's only getting more stressful here on out now that we're getting into conference play. So I'm looking forward to these great matchups. Had an awesome weekend. Glad you had a great time down there in Oklahoma. And I'm looking forward to getting out to some of these games myself, Mike. So this week, be sure to stay tuned. Notifications on YouTube. Mike put out a couple awesome interviews last week, and if you didn't have those notifications, you may have missed it. But just stay with us, and thank you for all your love and support.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get us some more interviews this week, Shane, with so many big games happening. Yeah. I've not asked a single person, so we'll see. But I'm usually pretty good at rounding some people up, so just be on the lookout for that. And, oh, my goodness, Shane, shout out
thanks,
our guy,
cuz.
Cousin Rick, one more time. Can't wait to watch the Aggies move up in each of the rankings moving forward. We appreciate you, Cousin Rick. Just for that, I'm going to say Shane was wrong on his rankings last week. Move them Aggies up, you coward. Aggies are going. I mean, my goodness, let's look at their schedule real quick for Cousin Rick. He's being so generous here. But, I mean, again, I get it. They didn't play their best ball this week.
Yeah.
But, heck, Missouri didn't either. No. And I don't care where Mississippi State games played. You got to favor heavily A&M in that one. LSU will be coming soon after they play Ole Miss. I mean, there is a path. Arkansas, Missouri. I'm not saying those are easy games, but if they win those, they could beat damn near everybody on their schedule. Obviously, the toughest one is Texas, but that's at home.
This is the deal, Mike. You know, Mizzou, I've lost a little love for. You know, I still love them, but I don't fear them as much as I did week one. LSU, the same boat. So we looked at the schedule and we talked about what ifs and everything. The fact of the matter is you're 3-1. Your only loss was to a top 15 football team, you know, and now you've got an opportunity to win here on out. I'm not seeing one team up to November 30th that you potentially could be an underdog, except for the Mizzou one. So, and I'm not talking Vegas here. I'm just talking about Team A, Team B meets on a neutral field, kind of like your power rankings. I really feel like A&M has an opportunity, but again, you can't do what you did last week. You can't make the dumb mistakes. They couldn't even run the clock out properly last week, Mike. Yeah. You know, so you got to clean up that. Don't look like a new team. Look like an experienced, you know, veteran football squad and get some production on offense. I'm just praying that that's what they're doing here. They're playing the vanilla style till they get to conference play, and then all of a sudden this offense opens up. Because this ain't Kansas State. Is that where you was at, Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas State.
So it's Kansas State. that was an exciting offense. I remember watching it at that Mizzou football game. It was just a little bit of everything. It was just hard to predict. I'm not seeing that down here in A&M, and I'm thinking maybe we're just playing long ball here, that we're going to start seeing it now that SEC plays in TAC.
That's exactly what it is, Shane. They're just keeping it in their back pocket. You know what?
Yeah, like them two kids laughing after I said that.
All right, buddy. So, hey, this is a long one, so I appreciate you. We appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. We'll be here all week.
Yes.
Previewing all these fantastic games, but that's all we got on this episode of the show. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see you guys. Go Vols.